Yep. Right. Welcome, everybody. We are at a new venue tonight, although we're actually moving back to the stallion side after. We are at the Mare. So there's always two sides to the story. We've been talking about the stallion side for a long, long time, but it's the mare owners' turn now to have a bit of fun and see what goes on behind the scenes at the stud here. We'd love to, as always, hear about your questions, but tonight we've got some amazing expert panels, and tonight I'm not one of them. You'll be pleased to know. So, because it's about the mare and the stallions. You can throw a couple of stallion questions in if you want. I can soon come and help with that. So tonight we have Rebecca Keating, who's one of the vets at the Mare Yard here. Edwards can't be with us tonight, so you're very much looking forward. How many years have you been here?
I've been here 4 years.
4 years. 4 years. She's Irish. We won't talk about the rugby, but we'll mention that another time. And Sarah's going to be on tonight as well, talking about stallion selection for your mares. Absolutely paramount. Matching up. It's a bit like the tinder of the horse wheel. We're going to match the stallions up with the mares. So is Faye as well. We'll get those questions coming in. Faye's a lot more on the dressage. Sarah's much more on the show jumping. And we've got Liz here. Liz Mersel. We go back a long way, Liz. Liz actually got me out to Saudi many years ago. I always feel I've got ventured to that new world. So from Eden Equine, who, God, how many years have you been doing this now, Liz?
2011 as Eden, and before that in pasture.
So a long time. So we've got a wealth of knowledge here tonight. Also, we can't do these nights, as you can appreciate, it's a free one for you to come on. And so we are also joined here tonight by Kate Hall from NAF and Ben from Biogene as well. We'd love you to ask your questions. Faye's going to be here asking the questions. Just at the beginning of the night, we've got some mares here. We've got a couple of students. Where are you from?
Harper-Keel.
Harper-Keel?
Nottingham.
Nottingham. Is there much rivalry between the two universities?
No.
So we've got some vet students here, and we've got some other ladies in the background that we're going to have a look at as well. So we're joined down by them. So we're going to be looking at some mares. So get your questions coming in. We'd love to hear where you're from. I think Verity is tuning in from France tonight. So we've already got one person from abroad, but we've got a huge amount of people. We've had over 450 people sign up for tonight. So thank you for that.
We've also got the Anglo-European stud book Young Breeders team watching tonight with Eva.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Well done, Eva. That's great. So yeah, we saw that on in the background. So we want to hear where you're from. See if we can beat last webinar. We had 44 different countries. See if we can get a few more last time. Wow. So tonight we couldn't do it without our sponsors. So that's really important to thank them. We've got NAF. They supported and sponsored and helped with Stallion AI for many years. They're 30 years experience in the industry, the official supplier of supplements and care products for the equestrian teams as well. Then we've got Equine Biogene, who are passionate and committed in providing the safest and, God, you can have to make these words a bit smaller for me. Products on biosecurity for all those that share our care and duty to horses and the environment. And we use this product, and you can imagine we are a bio-conscious outfit, Stallion AI, and here at the Mare Yard at Twumlows. And we only like to use the best products. And we use Biogene for our products for our safety and for biosecurity. Also, we've got EasyFold. India always gets left out. She's behind the camera. And she's going to talk about the folding, which is a new folding alarm that we're promoting this year, which is really good. But it's not just about the sponsors as well, it's about giveaways. So we have got an amazing giveaway tonight, over £300 worth, but you have to stay till the end. So get a large glass of wine, fill it up to the top, and sit back and relax and enjoy this webinar. So tonight the giveaway is half a ET price, and a Chill Seaman cycle. saving you. So, right. So it's half an AI ET fresh and chilled steaming cycle. Have I said that right? God, you're making it difficult for me tonight. I'm sure you put these long words in. So thank you, Edward, for that. We've got 1 via TD and 5 Stallion show tickets, and that's on the 30th of March.
20th
Yeah. 20th of April. Sorry, it's not even up the watershed. 20th of April, we've got over 30 stallions, and you've got some tickets to that, and £100 off the Easy Poll as well. So, more important, you want to get on with it tonight, obviously. So, what's on tonight? We're talking about pre-breeding soundness, understanding your mare's cycle, WFSS, the selecting a stallion, pregnancy rates, how many attempts, problems that may occur, etc., etc., etc. We have got so much to get through. We could be here for a while, so I'll sit back and enjoy. But while we just start to go around the back of the end of the mare, the sort of the important end of the mare, you could say, we've got one poll question. Oh yeah, even more important, nearly forgot. The charity tonight, as you know, Nature's Safe is close to our heart. It doesn't. This hasn't cost you a penny tonight to come on. Obviously, it's great. We'd just love if you've enjoyed tonight. If you can go onto Nature's Safe website and donate a £5, that would be amazing. £100 saves 1 tissue sample down. So a few fivers, it doesn't take much to actually save these species from going extinct. And we've got 235 different species already banned, thanks to your good self. So, first poll question tonight coming up. Which method do you use to inseminate your mares? Well, you can't inseminate with natural cover, but anyway, what method do you try to get your mares involved with? Do you use natural covering or artificial insemination? Because I presume a lot of this might be artificial insemination, but it's always quite good to see the demographic of what's out there. There might be people converting. Anyway, while you're doing that, let's come and have a look at that's the word I'm looking for, the business end. You want your right, we've got some nice rear ends here. And so I think really, before we start doing the mares, come on in. So just, I think with mare owners, quite often when they take to the stud, they can be a bit apprehensive of what questions to ask when they go to the stud. And quite often when they turn up at the stud, there might be certain questions to ask them. But before they come here, do the mares have to be tested for health-wise for anything? Well, and if so, what would that be?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. So I think it can vary greatly between studs. There's kind of a standard between most studs in the UK, but I definitely think if you are getting your local vet out and to test your mare before coming to Quenload or any other stud in the UK, always just check in with the stud at what pre-entry test that they need. So here at Quenload, we require EVA and a strangles test taken.
What does EVA stand for?
So equine viral arthritic virus, okay?
Yeah.
So and strangles. So I think they're two really important ones. But I know that it varies among studs, so it's always good to check in with the stud before you get your vet out to take those tests, okay?
And any of you out there that don't understand Irish, I can do the translation for you if you want. She said. So Liz, when a client comes to your place, you want a bit of history about that man, surely. So what sort of questions do you ask? What sort of, because you're trying to investigate before you put your hand in there, really what is going on inside that mare as much as you can. They might not know, but certain questions that you may ask to find out a bit more. It's like Inspector Clouseau, isn't it, sometimes, trying to get as much information.
Yeah.
What sort of things do you ask?
Yes, try not to jump straight in with a scan to start with and just look at the mare generally, the general body condition and health, and check that that's all been taken care of, and she's not got the ongoing painful issues, anything like that. Have a good chat about her history, whether she's sold before, whether she's a maiden mare. And then you do get down to a reproductive examination, looking at her vulval conformation and making sure that's all fine, and then a scan to check her ovaries and the uterus are all as they should be. I always try and remember to check the udder as well, just in case there were any problems there before you go. Put her in for realising there's something amiss, or even sarcoids in the regions around her that you want to point out before you get going.
Yeah, and sort of knowing their previous breeding history must be absolutely parrot. I know sometimes you can't have it,
Yeah.
but sort of things like, I don't know, the bit between placenta and things like that, is that important to know, or doesn't it?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
particularly if those things were in the recent history, if you've had a bad foal in the previous year, retained a placenta, and you might be wanting to do some investigations before you start to try and optimise the pregnancy rate.
But what about body condition on a horse? Because I'm carrying a lot of body condition here. Maybe I've got a mare, I might be a bit too much, but is it better if they're slightly overweight? I know you're switching one of them, most probably fairly normal weight, but if they come in really heavy, is that?
Yeah, it's quite an important thing actually. So I think that being overweight is the thing that we definitely see more here in the UK. You know, we like to look after our horses, we like to feed them really well, but we have to be aware that any kind of metabolic disorders of horses, so equine metabolic syndrome and Cushing's and things like that can have a real effect on the reproductive system. So we really want to be keeping them fit, lean, healthy. We don't want them to be overweight for sure, okay? And obviously if they're underweight, that can have a real impact on fertility.
Yeah. And obviously we'll come on to other things. I think what we'll do is we'll crack on having a look at these mares, and we've got a mare that maybe not in season, maybe possibly won't go in season, a pregnancy check as well. So if you want to crack on, Rebecca, and do your stuff. Say this is the business end. These stocks are specifically designed, obviously, for different size mares when they're being scanned, and it's a procedure that most mares take to it generally pretty well. It's an ultrasound scanner that we use, and the beauty about this is we can actually see reproductively what's going on inside the mare. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
We don't
Not
have this.
the most glamorous.
We don't have this problem when we got the stallions.
So we just always have to empty out the poo really well, and so that we can see what's going on underneath the rectum. We'll see the reproductive tract.
How many years have you been doing this, Rebecca?
2 now. So yeah. And I always shuttle to the southern hemisphere, so I never really have my
Crikey.
hand
You obviously love your job.
far from
So
a mare.
it's just explain, I know you've got to just go in and scan her, but just
Yeah.
explaining at the same time would be great.
So the uterus is a Y or T shape in most horses. So you can see here we have the body of the uterus. It's normally lying just above the bladder or either side of it. So we can just see the bladder under here. So here we have the body of the uterus. She's got some cysts here, which it's very common to see some cysts in mares that have had foals previously. So then as we go up the horns, you can see the horn here. So we move up the horn, and then as we get to the tip of the horn, we should find her left ovary.
Hey.
So you can see there's lots of little bubbles here on the ovary. These are what we call follicles. And each one of those follicles has an egg inside that potentially could be fertilized by the stallion.
Yep.
Most mares only grow 1 or 2 follicles potentially on each cycle. So a dominant follicle, we call it. So we'll just have a look, see, can we see one on this mare? So here on the right ovary, we found this big structure here on the right. So this is what we call a corpus luteum. So this is an ovulation on this right ovary. So this mare has just ovulated in the last few days. So she's not in season. So if we brought the stallion in now, she wouldn't be receptive to the stallion.
That's a pretty cool picture. That's an amazing picture, that is.
Yeah. So this mare would be at least 2 weeks away from potentially coming back into season.
And this, when you're scanning your mares and doing this, with these mares when they come in season, how quickly can they come back in season again? Once they've been in season, how long we've got to wait? And can you can sort of short cycle them as well, can't you?
Yeah, normally they would be in season for 1 week after it. So with her not being in season, like Rebecca just said, it would be another couple of weeks before she comes in naturally.
Yeah.
But if she'd ovulated more than 5 days ago, we could inject it into season 5 to 7 days, and potentially inseminate her again more quickly than nature would intend. So yeah, but you'd have to wait a week or so, well, 5 to 7 days.
5 to 7 days, yeah.
Sure.
And that's great to see that. She's obviously not in season. Let's see what the next one, and now we can compare the differences, obviously. Well, it's a pretty good setup here.
Yeah.
Where do you put your teeth?
Yeah, I always don't have it.
Come on, Edward, if you're watching, you need to have a place where you can cup holder.
Stand here. Anyone who comes to Twemlow know that I'm never far away from a cup of coffee at one time, so I always find a way. Yeah, so we're really lucky. We've got really good facilities, so we can also put a foal in here. We've got a special dock at the end there for fitting a mare and foal as well. And they generally do, as you can see, tolerate the scanning really well. Sometimes on the first initial scan, they can be a bit more nervous, but once they realize that they're not going to be in any pain, they understand what you're doing, can normally be quite straightforward. So we're going to go in again, look for the uterus. And we can see if we were to cut an orange in half and we looked at all the segments inside an orange, the uterus is the same and it's full of folds and segments. So on this mare, compared to the other mare, we can see multiple thicker segments, okay? So that's because the estrogen has brought fluid to the uterus. So there's way more fluid in the uterus when they're in season, okay? So that's what all that black is. We can see the folds way more clearly. So this mare would probably be receptive to the stallion at this time. So this mare is in season at this time. So we should be seeing one of those dominant follicles that we were talking about. So if we go up to the tip of the horn, find the ovary, and there you can see the follicle on this mare is much larger. So
Wow. That's a huge one.
So we'll measure that. So it's 44 millimeters, so 4.4 centimeters, this follicle. So potentially this mare is getting
She's ripe and ready here.
quite close to ovulation.
What
Yeah.
size will they go to?
So it can vary quite a lot on mares. I would say most of the kind of warm bloods and sports horses that we deal with definitely get to at least 40 millimeters, but potentially up to 50 and 55 millimeters with your shires and bigger horses, but it can definitely be very mare dependent.
Yeah, that's the perfect picture, nicely in season. Sometimes with these mares, before, if I'm right in saying, before they ovulate, sometimes they lose their edema score slightly.
Yeah, they can do. They don't all do it reliably, but they should lose it just before ovulation. By which time you should avoid just saying the day before.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. We'll come on to the ordering the semen. Actually, we'll do that maybe a bit more when to order the semen. That'd be some really good questions on that. Just on the poll question we've had in, haven't we, Faye? What was the answer to the poll question?
So it was 74%
Yeah.
on AI
Yeah.
and 26% natural cover.
26% natural cover. We got to convert you yet still. So we got to work on that 20. If that's my mathematics, if there's 400 people watching, 26%, that's a lot of people. No, it's about 40 of you. Right. So this is our pregnancy test now.
How many days do you do a pregnancy scan and what's the normal?
Yeah, so for us the normal would be today, this mare is 14 days pregnant today, so that would be the normal first initial scan for us. Sometimes if we were really eager to see that they were pregnant, we might check them a little bit earlier, but sometimes they can be quite small. So 14 days is the most reliable first day to see your pregnancy. So this is a really exciting pregnancy for us here at Twemlows. This is the donor mare that we took eggs from a couple of months ago via ovum pickup here at Twemlows. And then the eggs were shipped over to Italy. And then the ICSI procedure, so intracytoplasmic sperm injection, where you inject the sperm into the egg. And so out of the mare in a dish was performed, and then the embryos were created. They were frozen in liquid nitrogen, and the embryos come back here and can sit in the liquid nitrogen tank. Yeah.
So we've got to keep our fingers, toes, and everything crossed.
Yeah, really exciting.
Well, I think we need to have a bit of a holding our breath here. I mean, you can imagine this. So these were flown to Italy, is that right?
Yeah.
Fresh. Then they were ICSI, so you put one sperm cell into that, frozen down, flown all the way back, sat in the nitrogen tank at minus 196 degrees, thawed out, and then put into a mare, and maybe she's pregnant. I mean, incredible.
Yeah.
It's amazing what science and technologies do, and we use sex semen on this as well for our mares. So we can use sex semen through the ICSI side. It makes life so much easier when we're doing that. So
I think what's really great about it as well is that we can wait and the embryo can stay in the nitrogen until we have the suitable recipient that we're 100% happy with her cycle, with the mare, and then we can, when the mare is ready, then we can thaw the embryo and transfer.
Right.
Drum roll.
Yeah, we feel a bit, you always feel a bit apprehensive when you're doing these things. I remember when we did live on Country File, we did a sex one, the mayor wasn't involved.
We're looking for a little black
Oh,
dot.
so hang on, what's
street.
just happened there?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you're looking away. Wow. So that hole there was frozen down at minus 196 degrees, effectively,
Yeah, exactly.
and thawed out and brought back.
Yeah, so it would have been in a tiny straw, with
Incredible.
fluid, 0.5 mils of fluid, and then that straw would have been thawed. And then we find the tiny little embryo with a microscope.
And that was 14 days after it's been implanted.
So it was implanted a week ago, give or take, and because they're frozen when they're about
I
6
see.
to 7 days old. And we can see here that this mare is pregnant, so she also on her ovary has a corpus luteum. That looks quite different to the other one because as they age, so this one's an older one, they do change in appearance. So yeah,
I'll take your word for it. I'll record that one.
we're really
But
thrilled
that
about
is incredible. I mean, you really are seeing something very special tonight. Incredibly special. That wasn't just a normal AI. That was a frozen ICSI embryo flowing in from abroad, reimplanted, and now 14 days on. Incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
And what would be the next stage of this? This is 14 days. Do you say, right, that's it, we're not going to see her for 11 months now,
Yeah.
or do you actually carry on?
Yeah, so this is a recipient mare. So this is the mare that's carrying it for the donor mare. So obviously we've transferred this embryo in. So we want to make sure, so in the next couple of days, myself and the other vets on the team here will be just following her quite closely and checking her maybe every day for the next 2 or 3 days. And when we're definitely happy that she's accepted the pregnancy and she's recognized that she's pregnant, then we won't scan her again for another 2 weeks, and then we'll see her maybe another 10 days, and then we'll hopefully see a heartbeat.
You can actually see a heartbeat. What's that? 30 something days?
Yeah, so around 28 to 30 days, we'll check her for a heartbeat.
And do you do sex scan? Well, you can tell whether what sex they are.
Yeah, so we do quite a lot of sex scans here, especially for kind of embryos. If they have multiple embryos, they might want to know which sex is which. So we do that around 60 to 65 day mark.
Or they can just use sex even and dump it.
Yeah.
Right.
I've got a question which will fit in nicely there as well. So we've got one that says, when would be the latest time that you would check if a mare is pregnant? And when would that be safe to do? So what would be the latest kind of in terms of months that you would, what would be the last check you'd do?
OST, so yeah, so would it be heartbeat, or would you go on and check again after that?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So no,
Yeah.
nothing for the first scan.
I know, yes, I know. I thought,
Yes.
So potentially it is safe to scan them at regular intervals throughout the pregnancy.
and Liz, yes. Yeah, and with these sort of, sometimes these sort of older mares, do you find sometimes that there's more chance of maybe early embryonic loss and things like that? Is that something you have to be watch out for? And
Sure,
things?
the older mares definitely gather issues as they get older. So early and just lower fertility rates in itself.
What would you call an older maiden mare, or not older maiden mares, or an older mares? Is it, I know, is it sort of late teens, 20s, or?
Oh, a bit hard really.
Yeah.
Before we mentioned older maiden mare, I'd start sort of being a bit concerned if they got over the age of 12 and have menopause period. Other mares that have had foals, throughout their young life, will certainly go on into their late teens. But when they start up to sort of 15 and above, they're definitely going to think.
And the reason for scanning early as well, with twins, tell me a bit about twins, because we don't like to have horses to have twins, do we? No. And what's the reason for that? Because obviously most other species they can, but horses, it's quite a big issue.
Yeah, they can't often carry them to term, so often you get a late term abortion, or one born dead, one born alive, and very small and weak. And it could just make the birthing process very difficult as well when they're supposed to push through out.
But it's that early scan's important, isn't it? Because you can, usually determine whether there's twins there or not.
Yeah, prior to day 16, you could reduce it to a single pregnancy if you picked it up early enough.
Right.
The 16 days is crunch time.
That's good. That's pretty good.
And Rebecca was looking for the corpus luteum. We also looked to make sure there's only one corpus luteum at pregnancy check, because that would give us a clue. There maybe is another twin in there that we need to refind.
Cool, brilliant. Well, thank you for that. We're going to go one more thing now, and I think it's over to you, India. Is that right? So India is going to, if you want to get hold of the camera, which may have been doing it. So it's about the folding alarm. I'm just jumping this in because while we've got a mare here, India sells the folding alarms. It's that time of year. Those mares are knocking on your door. Do you want to be up every 3 hours looking for this mare? Do you want to sleep soundness and have an alarm? This alarm can do this. This alarm will is very, very reliable. Dave Footer from Yorton Farm, good friend of mine, he did something like, I think nearly every single one, I think it was 90 odd mares he foaled, and every single time it worked with his mares. So it just shows how well it works. But it's a fairly new one to the UK, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about it, and let's see how you put it on the mare. So go on, describe it.
So this falling alarm is called Easy Foal. So it's a falling alarm that has been made and produced in France, and we have, as Sally and I started now selling this in the UK. I'm just going to show you how to pop it on a mare. It's really easy. The one thing that is great about this alarm is you don't need a vet to put it on. You can do it as a mare owner, and so it's really quick and easy. You probably can't really see it on the camera, but it's got a little arrow at the top of the alarm. So that's basically the way that it needs to sit on the tail. But to make sure it's in the right place, you put it upside down on the top of the dock and then twizzle it round. So it wants to sit about there. But before you do that,
you're used to this.
You get your tape that comes with your falling alarm. And you put it 2 times around the mare's tail. Now you don't need to do this tight because it's really, really sticky, so it sticks to itself.
Did you pass your deep test at Pony Club India?
I did, thank you. So 2 times round the mare's tail. Then get your alarm, put it the wrong way round at the top of the mare's dock, and then twist it round, and it wants to sit about there. So it just wants to sit basically just on top of where the mare's vulva is. And then you go another 2 times round. Just making sure when you're wrapping it round, it's sitting in place.
Have we got some videos about this, India?
We have on YouTube and on our website.
So you can literally go onto YouTube,
Go
download
onto our website, and they're there.
We've
And then you just tear it off, and then you just squeeze around the alarm, and then that basically sits on that mare 14 days prior to foaling. Obviously, if she goes after that, you would just change the bandage and reapply a new one. And then you're good to go, ready and set up.
Well, thank you, India, for that.
It's okay.
You did mention Rebecca and Liz. There's an important question here. Vulvas. Vulval conformation is, how important is that? Because it's something I know when you always lift up the tail and you say some need cassolips and some are. Is that quite an important thing you look at beforehand?
Yes, really, really important. Okay, so it's on every mare scan we do. We'll always, before we go into the mare, we'll always have a quick look. So you can see here, it should be vertical. There should be no tilt, and there shouldn't be too much of the vulva above the pelvic brim there. Okay, so this mare's got a really nice conformation. So she's good. We're happy with her.
And these are all pretty good, these ones, aren't they?
Maybe, yeah, I'll have some of them.
I feel a bit bad that we're actually commentating on these mares vulvas. Anyway, but it is very important.
Yeah, so if there was a problem, then we would do a Catholics procedure. So we would stitch together just a small section of the vagina to stop any contamination getting into the uterus.
I don't know. Anyway, so well, thank you. So you're coming over in a minute, and I don't want to keep these ladies any longer than we have to in the stocks. They've had their scans, their routine scans. These were today anyway, which was great to see, and it's great to have this. Obviously, this pregnancy. We've all seen a pregnancy today, and which is fantastic. So, right, where are we up to now? Right, so now we've got Kate from NAF. We are going to hot-foot it. We are going to go over to the stallion yard, sort of run over there. And we'll join you up in the lab in a minute. But Kate, can you hear us?
Yes, yeah, hear you loud and clear. Thanks, Tullis.
So Kate, NAF, we've been supporting NAF. We've got an amazing product called 5-Star Fertility that we feed all the stallions, and it really is we find it really works on these stallions, especially when they've been on it a few months beforehand. We notice big differences in the semen quality and libido and everything else. But it's great products that NAF have. Their official supply of supplements and care for the British equestrian team, extensive range of products for joints, breathing. I think I need some of this digestive gut health. I think I might.
I'm sure we've got something for you, Tullis.
I'm just slightly worried about the fertility side. I don't need that one anymore. That's India's cringing behind the camera. And calming supplements, so I might need some of that. But anyway, and the Silky Mare. So they are great, but I'm going to leave you with Kate for the next 5 minutes while we head over, and we'll see you all back here in a minute. But you carry on, Kate. Tell us a bit about your products.
Lovely, thank you, Tullis. So it's really good just to have the opportunity this evening to talk to you a little bit about the mare instead of the stallion, and thinking about general nutrition and nutrition requirements of the mare. If we're looking for someone to take their horse to Sturden to be covering and having a foal, the first thing we want to think about is what do we not want to feed her. So we want to look at what she's currently on and just see whether that's appropriate. And particularly if you have your horse on a supplement designed for marish behavior, which would be something like our 5-Star Estrus, they're really useful products for just maintaining the hormonal balance for working and competing horses, but not necessarily what we want going into a covering. Most of these products will contain herbs such as chase tree, Vitex agnus castus, or cramp bark, and they do have a hormonal effect. So we want to take those out of the system and stop that sort of a month or 6 weeks before. And then the next thing to do is to look at their general body condition. I think Rebecca just touched on it earlier that we definitely don't want overweight mares. Too fat and too thin will both affect reproductive success and conception rates. And as we have touched on this evening, being too fat tends to be more of a problem than too thin, not just in this country, anywhere across Europe and across North America and the Western world. It's very typical in horse populations. So make sure she's a healthy body condition score. There are 2 different body condition scores you can use. There's the 1 to 9 or 0 to 5. Doesn't really matter which one you use, so long as you know which one you're talking about and you're aiming for about midway. So I normally use 0 to 5 and aiming for about 2.5 to 3. I think we mentioned earlier that we want the horse to be sort of fit and lean, and that is true, but within reason. So if you've got a really fit horse, a really fit performance mare that you're looking to cover, then actually we want her to relax her body condition score down a little bit. We normally refer to it as letting them down a bit and just coming out of that sort of peak performance stage. And then coming up to covering itself, we're looking for what we call a rising plane of nutrition. So that means the mare is steadily taking in some higher energy, richer feeds just for a couple of 2 or 3 weeks prior to covering. That does improve fertility rates, improve reproductive rates, and it's because it mimics the flush of spring grass. So, this time of year, we would expect that very sort of rich spring grass to be coming through. That's where nature intends her to be covered. So if we can mimic that in her diet, then that's what we want to do. So alongside what is hopefully a high forage, relatively low starch. Don't want to be putting too many starchy cereals in. Alongside that, we just want to make sure we're balancing the diet. In terms of vitamins and minerals, you might want to look at something like vitamin E and selenium, particularly if you know that you're in a low selenium area. So that again would be something to start prior to covering. We have our vitamin E and selenium plus product. Selenium is deficient in the UK and typically deficient in large parts of Europe as well. So check for that in your soil and grazing and get your mare onto vitamin E, selenium plus prior to covering. And then just make sure the diet's balanced with something like a multivitamin, something like a concentrated balancer such as NAF Optimum, really nice concentrated pellets providing all the vitamins and minerals they need. And at this stage in early pregnancy, in terms of vitamins and minerals, that's what we're looking at. We don't need anything too elevated or fancy at this stage. It's just a good basic diet with the additional vitamin E and selenium, particularly in a low selenium area. And as I say, looking at that slightly rising plane of nutrition as we refer to it. So that's just giving her a little bit more in terms of the energy, perhaps a richer forage, perhaps adding some oil, just to make sure that we're sort of mimicking the additional calories. And of course, if you are lucky enough to have spring grass coming through, then that's the ideal way to do it. So I think I can see Tullis more or less back on home territory there, and that's sort of what we wanted to talk to you about, sort of basic nutrition for the mare coming into this important covering season.
No, brilliant. Well, thank you for that. That's fantastic on that side of it. We've just hot-footed it over to the stallion side, and a bit cold out there, I must admit. I think winter's just arrived again. So we spoke about the mare. We'll go back to some questions in a minute, and I think that we've got one or two questions coming.
We've got a fair few coming through, yeah.
So first question at us. Yeah, while you're doing that.
Right, okay. We've got Charlotte. If a mare is grumpy, does it mean she's in foal or in season? What are your thoughts on that?
Come on, Willie. A grumpy mare. I'll just start a few of them.
No.
No jokes allowed.
Yeah, we get quite superstitious about that at Tunnels. I think that, there's no kind of real evidence behind it. But I think a lot of the time when people come in with a mare for a flush, they'll say that she's gotten calmer. And then they say, oh, I think she's pregnant, and they definitely notice that. They notice the difference when there is a pregnancy, not that there's a bit of a calm over them. I think it can be very mare dependent.
Very mare dependent, yeah. But more calm than grumpy.
Yes, yeah.
We've got another question on the topic of Regumate. What are your thoughts and advice on using Regumate? It's in particular relating to a 12-year-old maiden mare that's on Regumate, and she wants to put her in foal this year. Should she use frozen? Should she not? It's couple of ones there.
So if she's on Regumate, she's been on it for a long time, she needs to come off that well in advance of wanting to try to get her in foal. So we like to see them cycling regularly before you start setting them up for AR. So bring off the Regumate and see her coming to season and get a check that she is coming to season cycling normally.
Yeah, I think with regards to putting mares on Regumate, for pregnancies, it's very much dependent on the vet's opinion and very case by case dependent. There's, the incidence of progesterone supplementation should be quite rare. It definitely isn't something that every mare needs. It just depends on the case.
Brilliant. And have we got any countries still?
We've got loads.
Come on, let's get the countries out there. We want to see where you're calling from, all over the world. See if we can beat that 44 countries that we had last time. There's nothing like a bit of competition between the mare webinars and stallion webinars.
We did have a fair few. We had Namibia, Iceland.
We're off to Iceland, so off to Iceland to freeze the Icelandic horses in about 3 weeks' time. So I'm freezing.
Yeah, there were plenty. Like Australia, New Zealand.
So have you got some
Yeah,
there?
Germany, there we go,
Yeah.
Hungary, yeah, we've got some
Yeah.
lots, I think my chat may have just disappeared.
Oh, your chat is there. We've
Yeah,
got
no,
technical
it's-
difficulties. One job, mate. One job. That's all I can say. Anyway.
We've got a poll question.
Poll question.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, I wasn't. Things one. Yeah.
South Africa as well.
So,
South Africa. Yeah. Go on. Poll question. What is?
yeah, how
which
many
one?
mares are you breeding from? this
Yeah.
year?
So it's always quite a good one to find out. How many mares are you intending to breed this year? We've got question 1 is 1. Question 2 is 2. I think you know where this is going. Or 6 plus. So it'd just be interesting how many you're thinking about putting in. So if you can click away on that. While you're doing that, we've seen the mare's slide. Somebody recognise this. We're just to say we are launching a new service next week that we might be showing. So just watch out for that. I think this is going to be absolutely fascinating. So keep an eye out for our social media. Next week, you're going to see a new service that we are rolling out to all mare owners and coming on. So, what's that?
That's Stephen for you, yeah.
Oh, I've taken some other stuff.
Well, Pam's got that ready for you.
So when the semen arrives at your place, it arrives quite often. If it's chilled semen, it's going to be arriving in a box like this. It'll have the name of the person it's going to. It'll have the name of the stallion and the name of the mare.
Special mare hug.
Special mare. It's Lisa. Yeah. I know. They're always taking the mickey out of me. So it should have the name of the mare, name of the stallion. I don't have to have that on there, to be fair. But I just think sometimes if you've got 5 of these boxes turning up and it comes to the mare, the veterinary's place, they know which one that part is for. So these are like polystyrene boxes. So watch out next week. We've got an amazing new facility that is just about to start. And that's been launched next week. So they're chilled, these. So we've got 2 ice packs that go in here. And this chills the semen down to about 5 degrees. You sometimes, if you're really lucky, you'll have some confetti, sperm, which is gets everywhere. So you know when it's come from us. So the first thing you've really got to do is, I'll know to you. What's the sort of first things you like to do when you open these boxes up?
I like to look for the health papers.
Yep.
I like to look for some chocolates as well.
There you go. Your stallion knows it. So you're looking for health papers. Yeah, that's if it's coming abroad. It's got to have health papers associated with it. But in the UK, you still want to know that stallion's been tested, don't you? What tests do you normally look for, Liz, when you're what do they generally look for?
They should have had the CEM swabs done this year within the breeding season. And blood test EVA and ideally EIA as well.
And not all studs do EIA. We always do it as a belt and braces, I must admit. Equine infectious anemia, which is EIA, EVA, equine viral arteritis, which can cause abortion. So it's really important to test for that. And CEM, contagious equine metritis. And these are what's called notifiable diseases. So yes, that all wants to be tested within the year of, and it's really important to make sure. So what other information, when you look at this, do you tend to sort of look for your AI and male?
I like to look at the motility of the progressive motility of the semen right there. That would be
Yeah. So we're looking at what it is. Obviously, you want to see that it's the right stallion and the right man. It's all those details, but seeing what motility and how much they're asking you to put in as well. Some people put a lot of information, some not, but it's always quite good. Check the paperwork before putting it in. We always do a mare sheet. Actually, we've Boba very kindly sponsored this for us as well, and this just gives us a bit more detail to say who inseminated the mare. Was the mare given ovulation hormones and things like that? So it gives us a bit of a background. So we also have that. What else have we got on here? Just a bit of information about returning our boxes, please. All helping the environment. We want them back, if possible. So that's other bits and details. And then we have the semen in here. And if you're very, very lucky, you get an extra big sperm, a fluorescent sperm keyring We might throw a few sperm key rings in the lucky prize tonight as well. Yeah, sounds good. So we've got those. And then you've got the semen. So this arrives at the big star semen that we have here. Sometimes you get, what sort of volumes tend to get? You get a range of volumes, don't you? It depends if it comes abroad. So sort of the ranges you tend to get.
Yeah, it can vary a lot. I think from Europe, we tend to kind of get 12 to 15 mils, kind of something like that. And then sometimes in the UK, maybe you guys tend to give us like a nice 20 mils, or you could get up to 100 mils. So it just depends. Yeah.
Wow, fucking low.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Blimey.
Do you use 100 mils if you get given?
Yeah, we try not to. So that's where you guys come in great help for us next door to us there. So I'll come over and get you guys to have a look and often spin it down to give us a lower volume.
Yeah, just talk
Especially
about
with the tricky mare, you don't
yeah,
want to be looking
we've done this more and more of years late. So you get these mares made with a slightly tight cervix, don't you? That tend to, these mares are really difficult when they pull fluid and everything. So just talk about that process that you bring the semen over and we spin it down. And,
that's been fantastic for us. So if we get like a big volume, or sometimes even if we have 15 mils and we have a mare that's very tricky and maybe reacts quite a lot to these semen, so we want to put as small a volume as we can in there, I'll come over, and Cam or Tullis, they're one of the nice girls in the lab, and we'll spin it down for me, and then we'll have the mare ready, because obviously the sperm doesn't like to have quite a lot of extender normally to keep it motile. So then we'll go straight over and then put it straight into the mare. So that's where the two businesses side by side
there's lots of things you can do. And this is an ice sperm that we used, and we just put some of the semen on the slide here, and we can see it swimming around. It's been sitting in here for quite a while now. We've been waiting, but this is another device that we have, and we market and sell. So if you're a Mare or a veterinarian watching, you can literally just put the semen sample on this tube, and as you can see, there's nothing on here at the moment. You screw it on the back here, and just turn it around, and you can zoom into the semen, you can zoom out, you can press a button and it can tell you what the motility is and everything else. So slightly digressing, but that's just another way of doing it. I think it's always quite good to see what the semen, do you check the semen when it comes to your place and make sure it's okay?
Yeah. For sure. You never know what's happened to it on the way. It could have been stuck somewhere on this long journey. And just make sure it's still all swimming away before we put it in the mouth.
And I think it's important that because obviously if you go in AI mare a couple of times and you don't check the semen, then she's not involved and you see it's all dead. So you could have been like that again. So I think it's really important to check that semen right. And you're just looking sort of how well it's moving and stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, velocity it's got, how well it's moving, and the concentration and how many of those sperm cells are moving, and to put percentage on it.
So here's some of this again under here for a bit. Let's thin this stuff. Might just have to get another lot. We might have to get another lot out. Where's that other seed?
Here, that's not looking.
Died off now.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
That's how it should not look like.
So then we put a drop. When we're analysing semen, I know it's all about the mares tonight, but we're going to have a bit about the stallions. Otherwise, I don't feel like I'm getting my money to it. So when we analyse semen, it's about the size of droplet. We just want to be using 10 microlitres. We don't want to go and put sort of gallon of semen on there. It's always good to mix the semen. We can get 40 pieces and things like that. Mix that up as well. And then we can have a look at that. And we can put some on the side. And we want to use the right cover slips. We use 22 by 22. Make sure you haven't got your fingers all over them either. So, and there we have. Look at all that stuff swimming around there. Go up there. It's good old big star semen. How old is he now, Sarah?
21.
21. And look at that semen flying around. The old boy hasn't lost it yet, has he? Hey, blimey. Yeah. So we have a look. When you look at that, I suppose you must feel more confident than what you're putting in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's starting off with good motility. It's only going to decline from there. The mare's got to ovulate, and then the magic's got to happen. So if it's starting off looking like that, then you're onto a winner.
Well, when you're AIing the semen with chilled semen, you give something called an ovulation hormone, don't you? Is that right? And that's what's when do you tend to give that into relation when you AI the semen? I know it's different with maybe fresh chilled and frozen, but say take us to an average, say on a Monday and the follicles at a certain size. How walk us through that process? What would you do about
So
ordering?
we've got a mare in season on a Monday morning. We all do all our scanning in the morning. You guys must be the same. If she's got a big enough follicle and she's definitely in season, we'll ring to order semen first. And if that's all confirmed and we're going to get it normally the next day if it's coming from abroad or via the post in the UK, we'll give the ovulation hormone that morning, aiming for her to ovulate the following evening. So the semen should arrive the next morning, we inseminate, and then she should ovulate later that day, ideally.
And it's pretty accurate, these ovulation hormones, aren't they? They give them, they work with it. Is it within 36 to 48 hours?
36, 36 to 40
Yeah,
hours.
yeah, depending on the hormone that you use, but yeah, around the 40-hour mark.
Yeah. You can pretty much set your watch by it, can't you?
Yeah, it is pretty reliable.
And it works well with that. So I think that's pretty much we're done well here at the moment. Was there any questions before we go upstairs, Faye?
Yeah.
Have you got your country back yet or not?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry. I've had a few others. We've got one from India.
Well, for India.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we just
India.
me and Pam went to India. Sorry, talking about my holiday. No, it's not holiday. It's working out there. Me and Pam were out there setting up a freezing in. It's been crazy. We just done one in Japan just recently, and as I say, we're off to Iceland setting up there. So it's great to see so many. But anybody's watching tonight from abroad, the webinars, yes, it's for the next couple of hours, but we're always at the end of the phone, we're always at the end of an email. And so it's really important. If you have any questions, we've got some amazing vets next door and just down the road with Eden Equa. So they're always quite happy. Sorry. Oh, we've got
the answer to the poll. Yes. So we've got on number one, it was 39%. So what was it? Yeah. One was 39%. 2 was 19%, 3 was 11%, 4, 5%, 5 at 5%, and 6+ was 21%.
All right. Oh, wow. Some big breeders out there. I thought it was getting lower and lower and lower, but it just rallied at the end. So next poll question. I think it's quite good to know what discipline. Now, you always get vibes. We've got a dressage lady, so she thinks everything's going to go dressage. Show jumping with Sarah. So, but come on, let's see tonight. We should put bets on it. Who's going to come out popular? Are you a dressage person? Ask the question number one. Verity, if you're listening, that would be ticking your box there. Eventing, number 2. Showing, we added a few more on here. Showing, number 3. Show jumping, number 4. Other, number 5. And I'm not breeding, number 6. So those would be really interesting to see what the demographic, obviously, of that is. While we're doing that, is Ben there?
I am. Hi, Alice.
Hi, Ben. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks. You?
Good. Very good. Thank you very much for sponsoring tonight.
Pleasure.
I say, we use your products here. We are a biosecure. Oh, I can see you now. They turned the camera around.
Right.
Good to see you. As you know, we use your products.
Yes.
I think football spraying off stables, the whole works. It's an amazing product. But yeah, it'd be good if you could just give us a few minutes just explaining to everybody out there. We've got people from all over the world watching, and I always think the two things that keep me up all night is trying to pay the mortgage, but also worrying about biosecurity on that side. It only takes a disease to come in, and it can severely compromise. So it'd be lovely to hear about your product.
Yeah. Well, that's absolutely right. I mean, biosecurity has become a very emotive topic. More so over the last 2 or 3 years, the FBI have started to make stipulations on what organising committees should be doing in terms of what disinfectants to use. They should be efficacious in the presence of organic matter and harmless to the user, the horse, and the environment. And really, the biosecurity is misunderstood, and certainly the availability of appropriate products to be using in an environment. And we're biosecurity partners to British Show Jumping and British Eventing, and we have a large presence within the breeding and the racing sector. Everyone has their own concerns and issues, but we are focused on 360-degree biosecurity. Now, the use of disinfectants, most disinfectants fall under a category which is known as quaternary ammonium compounds. A lot of resistance has built up to microorganisms over time. And so there's a huge requirement for advanced technology within this sector of biosecurity. So we're addressing this on a 360-degree basis. So infection control for air, surface, and water. So we need to complete the picture of this. Now, with this audience, it's probably appropriate now to mention there's a bacteria called Pseudomonas, and we're just taking one example of many here. So Pseudomonas is a bacteria, can be waterborne, it can be environmental. Pseudomonas can cause endometritis in mares, mastitis also, and rather alarmingly, that particular bacteria can thrive in the presence of something called benzalkonium chloride, which is the active ingredient in the most commonly used disinfectants that are used in the equine world. So that is one headline example of why we're doing what we're doing and bringing to the market a more efficacious. Rossdale's have just done a trial on Pseudomonas using our product against 9 others. It's 5 times more effective than the most commonly used disinfectant in this country. And not only that, there doesn't have to be a cost to using disinfectant, a negative cost to the horse, the user, or the environment. So we're approaching the market with a medical grade, a veterinary grade product that is highly efficacious, yet has zero toxicity, zero chemical residue, and will degrade to water and oxygen, can be happily dispersed into the water systems. It's organic compliant, and so it's ionic silver stabilized hydrogen peroxide with lab grade deionized water. So there is no concern, it can be sprayed around the feed, the buckets, the water. We're putting constant dosing systems in water systems into stud farms and equine facilities. So we're bringing a new technology in biocidal products to benefit the equine sector across all sorts of spheres.
Right. Well, thank you very much for that. That's really good. Thank you, Ben. Really appreciate that. Right, we're upstairs now. We've got the poll question. Right, drum roll. Right, before you tell us the answer, I'm going to go dressage is the higher one.
No.
No.
Well, possibly individually, but because
alter you're calling Donald Trump in a minute, trying to alter the results.
Other was 24%, so that could be a few different categories. Yeah. Dressage is 22%, so not far behind. Showing 13%, eventing 19%, show jumping 19%, and I'm not breeding was at 3%.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that. I think have we got another poll question? Is that right? Is that right, Sarah?
Yeah, there's another poll.
So another poll question. Sorry, I think this is
the last one.
The last one. Do you plan to use UK stallions this year? This is quite an interesting subject because obviously with the new boar inspection posts, I was down in London yesterday with Pam. Pam, if you're watching, thank you for that. We met Lord Douglas Miller, the Minister for DEFRA and for biosecurity, and he is going to do everything he can to try and get these shipments. But basically, a question, do you plan to use a UK stallion or really one from abroad if everything was still flowing in? So if it's normal and we could get those parcels, it'd be quite interesting.
From Europe, Sundays.
From Europe.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Anyway, and cheers to everyone tonight. We're I think like Liz said, it's like the Graham Norton show now. We can relax and chill out. Just so you know, we also do our own gin here. It's called Stallion Gin. If anybody wants a bottle of this, it's £40 a bottle. It'll be the best gin you've ever tasted in your life. and actually £2 of every bottle goes to Nature Safe. So when you're having a drink, you're saving a species from going extinct at the same time. Double satisfaction in my eyes. Right. Next one on, so questions. We've got some questions coming up now. Just better mention the open day. Again, that is on the
20th of April.
20th of April, not March.
30th of March. 20th of April.
And so we got VIP tickets. There's still some available. Do we know how much they are?
£85.
£85. And I tell you what, you can drink as much as this as you'd like for £85. You can drink £85 worth of Prosecco.
Chocolate fountain.
Chocolate fountain, yeah.
Nice lunch.
That's where you'll find me all day, next to the chocolate fountain. So that's all upstairs. Book the tickets. We only sell about 80 of them, and then it's very limited after that. I think that's it. So, and also the directory you've got there.
Yep.
So we've got how many stallions in here?
160.
160 different stallions in our directory. So, right. So questions. We had one from Verity Smith, who is a lady that I know very well from France, and we're hopefully going to be doing a very exciting trip with her fairly soon. But I can't. I'm itching to tell everybody, but I can't yet. So she's asked the question before, didn't she?
Yes, she did. It was, is it better to breed with a mare that's bred before, or are maiden mares okay for embryo transfer?
Right, Rebecca.
I think it definitely is mare dependent. So sometimes we can have older maiden mares. Now it varies again depending on the mare. Sometimes we have older maiden mares that can be very straightforward, and others can be quite tricky. When we have very tricky ones, then sometimes embryo transfer can be a very good option for those. But again, it's very variable depending on the mare.
And just remember, you've got two experts in the room when it comes to scanning mares, getting mares in foal. I mean, the amount of mares you have. I mean, how many mares do you scan a day sometimes?
Over 100 sometimes.
100 a day, and you're doing this nearly 365 days a year.
Try to.
Because you do something.
If I can.
Well, you must love your job. And Liz, crikey, I feel like I've followed your journey abroad. I keep following you around the world, and amazing what you're doing in Saudi and all that work out there. But you've been doing this for so many years now.
20.
Yeah. So we've got so do get those questions coming in. You've got an expert panel, and then we're going to talk about obviously stallion selection with Sarah and Faye as well. What was the other question? That I think Verity had one more, didn't she?
I think we did cover it earlier.
We did cover it.
The size of the reset mare.
All right. Yes. Yeah. So on stallion selection, Faye, you love your dressage. I wish I had the same passion as you with dressage. I don't think I would look very good on a dressage horse, but it's incredibly popular in the UK. You've got access to some of the best genetics in the world. Just tell us a bit about them.
We've got a range of stallions on offer to UK breeders. We've got obviously the importation side. So we've partnered up with a lot of studs abroad. Van Olst, which you'll know us for having done for a few years now. They've got obviously some of the world's best stallions there. But we're working with other studs more and more. So Van Eitert in the Netherlands as well, and they've got lovely stallions there too. So and then obviously we've got plenty in the UK who are standing. We've got First and Look who's standing with us. He is from Paul Schockermuller's stallions this year, so we're really, really lucky to have him. Fabulous stallion, and obviously there are many dressage stallions in the UK that are on offer. So obviously, if we do experience difficulties with importing from 30th of April, then there are lots of options available for British breeders.
I think we're going to have over 30 stallions here, but typically we get nearly 300 calls a day coming in to the centre. So Mare they can ring you up for advice, can they? Because they'll typically say, I've got a 16-hand mare, she's not bred before or whatever, or she does this. How do you advise them? Because it is like the dating agency. We are that side of things. We're trying to marry up the genetics to get their perfect? What sort of questions do you ask them, or what sort of questions they ask you?
Well, a whole range of questions, really. They'll ask us what we have standing on centre. So some mare owners only want stallions that they can use fresh on their mare. So if the mare is at Twemlow's next door, that's a great option for breeders. But they'll want something that's potentially got a good temperament. So they might have a hot mare that needs something with a little bit of a level head. And obviously, they may well already have in mind the stallion that they're looking for. So in that case, if it's not a stud that we work with, then it's one that we can potentially import for them. But yeah, there's lots of different questions that people tend to ask, and it varies from mare owner to mare owner. But one thing that we usually advise is that it's always really useful to look at the progeny that the stallion are throwing, if those stallions have obviously bred before, because it just gives you a good idea of what they're throwing and if you actually like the progeny. So we can talk you through the bloodlines and what they typically throw as well. And obviously the price range that you might want to look at too. But yeah, the whole round service is something that we can really help you with here. And I know that Sarah does a great job with the show jumping stallions too. So, it's that kind of open door, and we're always at the end of the phone. So if anybody needs to talk about anything, then, by all means, give us a ring.
So I always say a thing on price. People come to us and say, oh, I want to find a stallion £500 or a cheaper stallion or whatever, which is fine. Just remember, when that foal was born, the cheapest part of the whole process will most probably be the stud fee. Sorry, not dishing you vets out there, all right? But you got your livery, you got your farrier, you got the vets fees, you got the scanning fees. So do not try and skimp too much on the stud fees. You might be saying that's because we've got a vested interest. You've got to try and purchase the best available stallion, the best available genetics, because by the time that foal is 4 or 5, that will be instrumental trying to save £300. It'll be nothing. So we've just going through. I've got your phone now, Faith. WhatsApp messages. So we've got lots of countries. I'm just going to read a few out. We've got Germany, Guten Tag. Hungary, I can't do all these different languages. Hungary, South Africa, Jersey. I saw some people from Jersey Zoo the other day. Hungary again. Wales, yeah. Won't talk about the rugby. Wooden spoon. Sorry, you're Welsh, aren't you? I've got some good friends. Somebody wants some key rings. So yeah, can certainly do that. In Scotland, and brilliant. Yeah, I've got some great things. So Sarah, on your side, you're do a lot on the show jumping side.
That's it. So I represent the show jumping and the event stallions that we've got standing here with us, and also the import stallions too. Faye was talking about picking up the phone and chatting to us. I did a little bit of a some earlier, Faye, and there's well over 30 years of experience between us all in the office from talking to people on the phone. So we know what we're talking about. Please do come and pick up the phone and speak to us. We listen, we give you options too. So maybe you want a particular stallion and that might not be available. We'll look for options that stallion maybe has got a brother or has got progeny that might be worth breeding from too. We do pride ourselves here at Stallion AI Services, as well as both Liz and Rebecca with Eden and Twemlow's. We put a lot of pride into our work, and we're all very, very passionate about what we do. And I think that actually shows in the results that all our companies get. We've got a huge customer base, and like I say, we're at the end of the phone to speak to you whenever you like. We're open for stallion viewings too, so you don't have to just wait for the open day. You can come and have a look at the stallions whenever you like. We'll get them out and you can meet them in the stables. We generally as well go and take you for a walk around Twemlow's at the same time. So there's all different options. We've got loads and loads of videos on our website too of all the stallions and their progeny. One thing that sets us maybe a little bit apart from some other places, we send a film crew out filming progeny. So we're keeping across all of the results for stallions out competing and their progeny competing too. So we've got a wealth of knowledge for you too. And it's Karen, that's fine.
No, I'm just gonna go on. I know I spoke to your boss the other day, my brother, Edward. He said to mention about frozen semen because some people are scared about using frozen semen or hear rumours about frozen semen. But he actually says he likes frozen semen, which is great to us because we freeze semen all the time. Just explain a bit about that, because obviously you do that all the time with frozen semen, don't you?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that we love frozen semen at Twemlow's because, you know, sometimes it's just getting semen across from Europe or organising it at the last minute can be very difficult. So the fact that you can literally just go to the tank and get it is amazing. We're very lucky that we have so many vets on site that, you know, any hour of the day for scanning to optimize results is no problem for us. And I think that the standard frozen semen has improved greatly over the last few years. So yeah, it can be a really, really good option.
Especially when it's done about 300 meters away from you.
Yes, exactly.
And
I can phone at any day and say, can I have some semen now, please? And just run across the road again.
And your results on frozen semen, because we published those results, you saw that was, I haven't got the stats in front of you, but it was thousands of cycles, hundreds of mares. Your frozen results were actually better than your chilled results, which amazed me, you know. And I think there's some various reasons for that. I know you put a lot of work into, but remember when you're dealing with chilled semen, it's you're reliant on that collection of that day. Frozen, it should be hopefully all good. But that amazed me that, you know, so the frozen results are getting better and better. And you do frozen at your place, Liz?
Yeah, we do a lot of frozen.
Do you?
I probably prefer it in a lot of ways.
Do you?
Well, you haven't got the worry of if it's going to be delivered or not, or the courier's going to not find the postcode, or it's there in the tank for when you need it. And as long as you know it is good quality frozen, then it can achieve really good results.
That's amazing, because 10 years ago, people said, like, frozen doesn't work, can't use it. There are certain mares that you may be more trickier to frozen, wouldn't they? What sort of mares may be those sort of mares that may be not so susceptible to frozen?
I think if you've got a mare who you know is just of lower fertility, then you're putting in a smaller dose of semen, and particularly if that's a single straw dose, it's probably not going to be optimal for her. But most mares, it's a smaller volume for a start, so it tends to cause less reaction in the uterus. People used to say it caused more reaction, but I definitely don't see.
No, I would say the same for sure. Yeah.
And I suppose from our point of view, we're always constantly changing our technologies when it comes to frozen semen. So, you know, we're just, you know, always upgrading it, making extenders better, mediums better, standard controls and stuff. Right, Faye, have you got any questions?
Plenty. We might be here for a while.
Right, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. No. So we've got someone's actually asked a question for you, Ben. Can you use BioGenie on wooden stable walls?
Yes, you can. You can use BioGenie on any surface at all. So 360 degrees, air, surface, water, any surface, metals, rubbers, clothing, fabric, wood. And wood's relevant because trichophyton, which is the fungi that causes ringworm, can live in wood indefinitely. So yeah, very important to treat the wood. So yes, you can spray it in the stable all over the place, and you don't need to remove the feed or the water buckets or anything like that.
No, thank you for that.
We've got a question here for our resident vets. So how do you handle older mares that seem to be stuck in their cycle? So no corpus luteum and no follicles coming up.
I think that's, you know, it can be, I think we definitely need to get her in and have a look at her. There could be many different things with that mare. I think what I was saying earlier about metabolic disorders, okay, could be something, but I think we need to have a look at her and see what exactly is going on. This time of year, you know, a lot of mares are still not cycling, don't have corpus luteum. So that could be totally normal for that mare. I think you definitely need to give her, you know, a good few more weeks before you're starting to get really concerned, and then getting her into your vet and getting a full workup and getting an opinion would be a good start.
We got one of your other vet, Petra's here as well. Hi, Petra. Petra, you gave a really good talk the other day on rare breed mares, didn't you?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Yeah, thank
Yeah. Have you got? Is there any sort of extra tips? Yeah, because there might be some people watching there with a rare breed horse. Do they come with any other complications, rare breed, or are they pretty much the same as all the others?
I would not specifically find anything. Maybe the ponies can, as Rebecca already mentioned, some metabolic problems, but when they will get older. But as a younger ones, not really. I don't know. No,
we got some great feedback the other day when you did that presentation to everybody, all about sort of the rare breed horses. But anyway, good to see you. Got your Prosecco, so you're okay at that there. Right, Faye.
Yeah. So Dan McCaffrey, hello Dan. He's asked, is there any reason for avoiding using frozen semen with a maiden mare?
This is a question
So I guess asked
all the time.
Yeah.
And I must admit, if you asked 10 lots of different people, you most probably get 10 different answers on this. But yeah.
I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer. I just think it's difficult. I think you don't have an idea of that mare's fertility. It's probably the biggest problem. So you don't know whether she's going to be a difficult mare or an easy mare, and then you're putting in a small dose of semen. So maybe you're not giving her, maybe if you were to put a bit, a big chill dose in, you would be giving her a better test really of her fertility. You then if you're just putting a small dose of frozen in, then maybe if she's not the most fertile mare in the world, she's not going to get in foal, and you won't know that until you try.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't see any other veterinary reason to use frozen in the maiden mare. It works. It can.
Yeah. So don't be afraid of using that frozen. Maiden or whatever. It can work. Obviously, the old maiden mare, they're less likely. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of healthy mares and straightforward pregnancies, how many pregnancies are considered reasonable before it becomes unfair to keep getting her in foal? Where do you really draw the line? Is there a set number?
Mares that have had 10 foals almost consecutively, and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
But if they start to give you signs that they're struggling, their body shape goes, and particularly their hind limbs, if they start to lose their tendons go in their hind limbs, and starting to tell you that it's getting to be too many. Quite mare dependent.
Yeah, I think you have to just really know your mare, know when you think, right, I think now is time for her to finish.
Yeah, there's like anything, there's not always a rhyme and reason for doing it. And some mares do very, very well every year having foals, and just others can't cope with it. They run up light and things like that, or they don't do the foal. So I think, unfortunately, you have to see how your mare's handling it, don't you?
Yeah. We've had a question come in to say, what's the situation if imported semen is thought to be no longer viable? So I guess would that refer to what the alternative options would be? So in that instance, maybe if you've got a backup of frozen semen that you could use for that stallion, then that would be what we would suggest. If that happened in our instance, but I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, we do get that situation every now and again, and then hopefully we do have frozen backup, or sometimes we'll tell the client, okay, well, if you really don't want to miss this cycle, I'll give Sarah a call and tell them to reach out to Sarah, because we've got some more options right here. It just all depends on how you're feeling about that stallion. If you want to wait and just wait till the next cycle, then obviously we'll always work with you on that.
Yep.
Plenty. So
You've got so many questions.
Yeah,
I've got a quick
Go on,
one.
Sarah.
One that we get asked sometimes from people maybe who don't understand things as much. I'm going to have frozen semen, so can I keep it in the freezer at home?
Well, you can keep it in the freezer at home, but whether it's going to work afterwards, it's a different kettle of fish. So no, it's got to be kept at minus 196. It's nice to get some questions my way. That's one I can answer. It's not a mare one. So they have to be kept at minus 196. Otherwise, those straws will thaw out, and that semen will die, unfortunately. So the answer is no.
But most vets now can store for you, can't they?
Yeah, most vets got facilities to store it in. It's the beauty about it. It's there indefinitely. With frozen semen waits for the mare. With the chilled semen, the mare's waiting for the semen. So that's the beauty about frozen semen. Yeah.
So Jeanette Mackenzie's asked whether we check frozen semen that we have in storage on arrival as a rule. So if we are just storing that, if it's been frozen elsewhere, we don't.
No, we don't.
Check unless we've been asked to do so.
No, so we don't. If it arrives at our place, if someone's frozen it, we are literally holding that semen for that client. So we are not going to check it.
Yeah.
Can I do him a joke?
It depends what it is.
What do you call a chicken with a bit of lettuce in its eye? Chicken Caesar salad.
Oh,
Oh, it's not even topical.
no, it's not.
Just there, it had to come out. That's a good one. Anyway,
Yeah. So do you have any advice on dealing with a tight cervix and fluid expelling issues?
Yeah, I think there's a long list. On that
you
one.
set up camp. But there's so many things that you can do now with oxytocin with this fluid. Years ago, you couldn't, or it's difficult to.
Yeah.
But you're quite lucky. You've got lots of drugs at your armory washing out. So, but I think those mares with fluid, it is a problem. But
I
there's
think
ways
it
to.
probably starts before insemination as well, knowing perhaps that your mare is a candidate to get lots of fluid. So if she's an older maiden with a tight cervix, if she's on box rest for some reason and she can't walk around and expel that fluid herself. So forewarned is forearmed. And then we can actually manually dilate the cervix a little bit as well. I help her with that. Oxytocin injections, sometimes lavage in the uterus. Will help as well.
We like to lavage them as soon as possible after AI. Sometimes we feel like if we just kind of get in there and get that inflammation out earlier rather than later, it can help. And I think probably every vet is very like specific on the things that they like to do. But for me, exercise, like Liz was saying, is the number one key thing. If you've got a mare that's on box rest for an injury that's having embryos and things like that done, that can sometimes be very tricky. So I think we've got a walker at Twemlow's, and the mares, it's going all day during the stud season. We'll have mares on and off there. The walker is just really one of my favorite tools when it comes to fluid.
Right. Another question, Ben. Sorry, I interrupted you then.
Yeah.
Good at multitasking.
Yeah, no, that's it. Shirley Light's watching.
Oh, Shirley.
Shirley.
Did you like your gin, Shirley? Yeah, I bet it didn't last long in your house. Well, we'll have to do some toffee vodka next time.
Oh gosh. She said, if you have a triple ovulation, what day do you usually scan?
I'm triple.
I'm a 14-day girl, always on my twins and my triplets. I'm always like a 14-day, but that can be very vet dependent.
I think the risk of scanning early is that you might not see. You could have 3 embryos and you might not see them all, particularly if they're smaller than they should be or hiding behind one another. So 14 is a nice safe bet.
Yes.
And you've still got time then to reduce one pregnancy, and then if you needed to, the next day you could reduce a second pregnancy. You've still got time before day 16.
Yeah.
So 14 is a nice number.
Mm-hmm.
Is that quite common, triple then? No.
We had 3 embryos last year.
Yes,
Mm.
yeah, you did. That was
Okay.
fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, you did a flush?
Yeah.
We haven't touched on embryo transfer yet.
No.
Let's just do a little bit on embryo transfer, because I'm sure people know about it. So just, you both do it? Well, I know, obviously, do you do embryo transfer as well? So you do embryo transfer. I think, just without going too far, just give a rough process of how the embryo transfer works, when you flush and things like that.
Yeah, so for example, today at Twemlow's, we've got some chilled semen and IAI the mare. So tomorrow, Petra and I will be checking her for ovulation, for fluid post-cover. And then if she's ovulated, then in about a week's time, we'll basically be placing a catheter with a balloon inside the uterus, blowing it up like a balloon, and massaging that fluid. And then hopefully when we release the fluid, then the embryo will come down and be retrieved with the fluid in a filter. And then we can prepare it in a straw, similar to the ICSI pregnancy, and transfer it to one of our embryos that we've already previously organized. And we work really closely with Eden Fertility as well. And we often work together on those. They'll do flushes and we'll transfer embryos. So it's really nice to
So you get
work
people
with those.
shipping embryos to you?
Yeah, we get embryos from across the UK arriving to us daily at Twemlow's. So we've got a very large herd. We're really lucky. So we'd have different ones for different days lined up.
How do you transport an embryo then? How does it arrive?
Yeah, so it depends on how long it's been shipped for. So when Liz sends them to us, we doesn't even chill them. They can just come fresh at room temperature. If they're coming a long way, we do recommend chilling them, but they can just come in the same kind of box and like Tulla showed earlier with the semen. And just they need to arrive kind of like by the end of the day, preferably, and then we transfer them straight away.
What do you know? You might not know the stats, but roughly once you transferred them, to I don't know, 75% or 80% stay there. Obviously, you can always lose the odd one, aren't you?
Yeah,
but it works.
You want to aim for around above the 80% to 90% range with your first pregnancy scan on your embryo transfer. So it is a very successful procedure.
That's good.
There's not much difference between you doing it fresh or when it transported in. It tends to work quite well.
We've done the math and the results are very similar. Yeah.
Wow, so it works well. And what sort of reasons? What sort of reasons do people do embryo transfer for?
So the difficult mares we were talking about, those maybe the older maids where you know you're going to have problems and her uterus might not be in the right place to carry a pregnancy. She can produce you an embryo, but she can't carry it to term. Competition mares who can't take the time out to have a foal, they can flush embryos from them and then they can carry on with their competition career. What other kind of mares do we use? Probably it really.
Yeah, those are the competition ones. And they say,
if someone wants to have more than one pregnancy, so if they wanted to have 4 or 5, so multiple pregnancies from one mare, and then the mare could potentially carry her own as well after giving more embryos. That's sometimes what we get with some of our clients.
And obviously for rare breed horses, it's great because obviously mares can only have physically one foal a year. So if you've got rare breed horses, it means they can have multiple foals from that genetic line. So yeah. Right, Faye.
Right. One more question. Let's see.
We'll just take, I think, a couple more questions. Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, while Faye's just having a quick look, we did have a question earlier, I think, while we were putting the easy foal wrap on.
Yeah.
India, if you'd just like to explain, somebody thought we were putting it on it's too tight to stay on the mare.
For 14 days, they were just concerned with the length of
It's
time.
not, because it's a really sticky tape, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's basically a really, really sticky tape, and you actually don't, when you apply it to the mare's dock, you actually don't put any pressure on at all. At the end, you saw me squeezing the tape around the alarm sensor, so basically that just kind of keeps it in place. It's a lot stickier than vet wrap, so it's, it works really, really well. But yeah, it's not too tight on the mare's tail at all. And like I said, after 14 days, if she hasn't foaled, you just take it off and reapply it and just make sure she's nice and comfortable with it.
Good. Thank you.
And we didn't explain what happened, but it sends a text message, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it sends either a text message or a call. You can choose which one you prefer, to any amount of mobile phones that you put onto the Easy Foal system, and then that way it alerts you whether your mare is foaling.
Good.
Yeah.
Next one.
So what are your thoughts on inseminating the mare on the foal heat? Is it better to do that or not better to do that? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you can be open to that. And when I've done thoroughbred work, we do that quite often. I think a lot of vets have the number 10 in their head when they're talking about foal heat. So if the mare is, had quite a long season after foaling, and her uterus has tightened up and everything's come back into size and the fluid has come out and the vet is happy with the way the mare is, every mare is different in those scenarios, then potentially it can be okay. But I think when you're dealing with chilled and frozen semen, because it potentially might not be as fertile as another cycle, then we tend to tell owners, let's just leave it, give the mare a break, and then get going on the next cycle. That's what we tend to say.
Yeah, but if people are short of time at the end of the season and they want to have one go on the following heat, then we absolutely will if it's all looking good. And they've not ovulated by day 10. But there is a slight increase in early embryonic loss rate, I think, as well. So if people are on the fence about it, I tend to push them into short cycling after the foal heat. You can gain a week that way without using it.
Great. I think we'll go one more question. We'll be going for an hour and a half. I need my beauty sleep at some point, believe it or not. Faye, give us the last question. Obviously, on all the questions you've asked, we'll do our utmost to get back to you. So don't worry about that on that one. So yeah.
We've got someone who said, have you encountered many Turner's syndrome cases? So where it's XO instead of XX.
I've seen a couple of mares who I suspected, just with, very, the uterus and ovaries don't really appear to be there when you scan them, but we've not actually got to the stage of karyotyping them. So no, not very common at all.
No, we've had potential cases, but trying to do the testing in the UK can be quite difficult. You have to send them to America, and unless it's changed now, I think you have to send it to
I think
America.
it's labs down south now.
Oh, yeah.
So
And one thing I would like to say as well, just on the kind of health testing, we have actually partnered up with Animal Genetics recently, and we're now offering the warm blood fragile foal syndrome testing. So you can purchase that through our website. It's £30 plus the VAT per mare. And once you've purchased, then we'll send you the form. You just take some hair samples and send that off to Animal Genetics, and you'll get your result of whether she's negative or positive, carrier, and then you can make your decision, with that in mind. So, it's a great initiative that we've set up, and great with the Animal Genetics as well. So, yeah, really do make use of it.
brilliant. Right. Well, we're coming to the end now. It's been a new one for us for the mares tonight, and just want to thank everybody that's participated tonight. We've had hundreds of people watching, which is great, from all over the world. So just a few slides to put up now. So Harriet's behind the scenes, so I've got to have a big shout out to Harriet to thank her for tonight. She puts the slides up and actually works behind it. And I think the first one is about the stallion directory.
That's it, which is this here. And it's not just a stallion directory. Anybody who's interested in breeding, we start off, we've got over 100 pages in our breeder's guide. And we put on various different articles here that tell you really the up-to-date information that's going on within the breeding world. So it could be anything relating to the mare, to the stallion, or to the foal. Really, really interesting articles, and they are really, it's a good read that on its own, to be fair. Then we move on to a vet and stud directory section, and that lists some of the best vets and studs, repro vets all around the country. We've got them all listed in order for you, regions, so you can have a look and see which vets are in your area. We then move on to the stallions. We've got over 160 stallions listed in here, from show jumping, eventing, dressage, and then we've got a really good multi-purpose section at the back. And then we move on to a little section of transport. So at the back, we've got our transport section, allowing you to pick your transporter to take your mare or your stallion to stud. We produce these, you can order them from the website, or you can download one right from the homepage on our website too. We've sent out 5,000 copies worldwide already this year. We haven't got many left, actually. We had a bit of oh my goodness, we might need to order some more. So yeah, these will be available at our Stallion Show on the 20th of April as well. It's a worthwhile read, and we produce it every year.
Thanks, Sarah.
Okay.
Right, India. So you collection equipment. Do you want to go through that?
Yeah.
Give us the camera. I'll turn it around.
Do you want to come here? Because I've got some.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Go on. Yeah. So what have we got here? We've got lots of goodies here.
So collection equipment at Stallion AI. This is what we use here and we sell. So we've just recently started doing these. These are our rein systems. So we use these on all our stallions here. We use chiffonies on our stallions when we handle them in the collection area, and we basically clip these on each side of the chiffony, and in that way you're able to stand at the stallion's shoulder and steer them. We learnt this method from Bart Halls, and we started using it here. It just basically keeps you away from the front end, helps you steer the stallion better, can't stop them from spinning around, etc. So we do them in 3 different types of sizes, pony, cob and large, and these can be ordered through our website. We then, as we spoke about, we do equine biogenie, and we use this throughout the stud here. Twemlows use it as well, and we use this to clean our dummy mare, clean our stables, clean our AVs, clean our lab. We use it everywhere, and we find it is absolutely brilliant. It beats every other disinfectant that we've used here before, and this is also available on our website, and we do different sizes of the concentrate, and also we do these small bottles as well for like cleaning lab surfaces. We've obviously got our dummy mares, which we sell. So if you haven't got a dummy mare and you've got your own stallion, you wanting to collect at home, we sell them. We've got the iSperm, which you saw being used tonight, which is a brilliant piece of equipment. Liquid nitrogen, if you're using frozen semen, this is a really good piece of kit to have just to keep you and your staff safe. NAF 5-star fertility, like we said, we've got a NAF here. Oh yeah, behind us. Yes, so we sell that basically to help obviously with semen fertility. And then lastly, obviously our Easy Fall. So a new product that you saw me use tonight for Mare owners, a falling alarm, which is, you know, been brought into the UK, which is, you know, brilliant. So get ready for the season.
Can I ask a quick question on that as well, India?
Yeah.
Someone's asked in the group, can the mare damage the falling alarm if they rub their tail?
So this is actually a question that I asked Easy Fall, and obviously, like we mentioned as well, Yorton Farm, a thoroughbred stud who we are quite good friends with, they use this product. And they're really, really robust. They don't, they're really, really hard. The sensors here, they're really hard. They don't break at all. The worst they'll do is if the mare really does scratch, they will drop out. But obviously with a pregnant mare, you should be checking her every day anyway. We do sell these fine remotes. So if they are in a field, because we also do field ones of these, that helps you locate them if they do get lost. But no, they don't get damaged at all. We've never heard of them being damaged. As I said, they're really robust and really, really good.
Thank you. God, I'm going to lose my job. Very good in front and behind the camera. Right. So, Faye, chilled semen importing, offering breeders a large selection of stallions.
Yes, I briefly touched on that
We touched
before.
on that
Yeah, we did.
already.
Yeah, no, but we do offer that service. Obviously, we'll wait and see what happens with importing chilled semen from the 30th of April. But one thing I will say is that we have a huge stock of frozen semen for a lot of the stallions that you would be interested in abroad, as well as in the UK. But obviously, yeah, if that's an option for you, then please get in touch, because we can always help you with that. But fingers crossed, let's see what things have in
Sweet.
store.
Yeah. Well, we had a good visit to London. So just sort of wrapping up now, we've got to thank our sponsors. We thank NAF tonight for sponsoring, and Equine Biogene and Easy Fall. So as I say, we support all these products and use them here all ourselves. So no, they're great products. The other slide, the winner tonight. So there has to be a winner. You've all stayed on, nearly over 200 of you tonight, and the winner is.
Do you want to say it, Harriet, or shall I?
Sorry, Faz, on mute. Go for it.
I'll go for it. Dan McCaffrey, congratulations.
Well done, Dan. You've got your half-price ET fresh chilled semen cycle, your Biogenie, and your tickets to the Stallion Show, which will be on the 20th of April. I get that right. So here we go, and it's all online. So it's £7.50 if you order it now. It's £10 on the day. So get your tickets booked in advance, and then obviously we've got the VIP and of course the chocolate fountain up here, which is my personal favourite. That's the Stallion Show. The charity, obviously, Nature's Safe. I don't know whether you. So we're on a bit about that. We got a leaflet here. Yeah. Oh, look at that! Hey, here's one we prepared earlier. Well done, Sarah. Nature's Safe. We're actually on Country File last week and on BBC, I think, last night. So frozen down over 230 different species. We need your support. If you've enjoyed it, not just a £5, that will be great. If you can log on and just do that, would be much appreciated. Every penny goes to saving animals from going extinct.
Let me just give a little domestic plug for Lucy, because we've got
mare owners. If you want to get your mare clone, we've got the tissue banking, which is literally all done here for cats, dogs, and horses on that side of it. We do our lunchtime live every Friday with Sarah and Faye. So don't forget to join in. Are we doing one this bank holiday?
Yeah.
Be
here, but Sarah might be.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just me.
Is it India?
I reckon me and India should do it this time. Yeah. Anyway, so most Fridays, but most of all, I've got to thank our team. So we've got Petra here, who's been sitting in the back there. But obviously we've got Faye, We've got Rebecca Keating, Ronan Keating's sister. Liz Mersel, and we've got Kate also down there. We obviously got Sarah, who's helped put the storyboards a bit. We've got Kate behind the, obviously from NAF, and Ben from BioGenie. We've got India behind camera, and Harriet who's behind the scenes. If I left anybody out, I always leave someone out. So as always, it's a pleasure to have you on board. It's been a slightly different one this time, but it's been a great uptake. We're always at the end of a phone, whether you're looking for a stallion or want some advice, whether it's us or obviously the Mare Yard, or obviously Liz is only just down the road, and sure she'll more than willing to help any of those questions. The stud season's just getting going. It's just around the corner. The weather's a bit chilly tonight, I must admit, so the mares are going to shut up shop for a bit longer. But it's been great having you on board, and thank you very much for joining tonight. And we look forward to seeing you, hopefully, most of you at the open day on the 20th of April. See you there.